haunted by the past. It was just past midnight when I first heard the footsteps. I was making my way home through the dimly lit streets of our sleepy town, the kind of place where the streetlights cast long, eerie shadows. The echoes were subtle at first, almost indistinguishable from my own. But then, as I turned onto a narrow alleyway, the sound came again, louder and closer, like a specter stepping in sync with my every move. I paused, heart pounding, trying to convince myself it was just the wind or a stray animal. But the cold sensation creeping up my spine told me otherwise. Something was following me, and it was more than just a shadow. Determined to confront whatever was lurking behind me, I picked up my pace, hoping to catch a glimpse of my pursuer in the reflections of shop windows lining the alley. But each time I turned my head, there was nothing but darkness and the faint rustle of leaves. My mind raced with possibilities. Perhaps it was a prank, or maybe my imagination was running wild. Yet, deep down, I knew something was terribly wrong. The air felt thick, oppressive, as if the night itself was closing in around me. I considered calling someone. But who would believe me? The story would sound absurd, like something out of a horror movie. As I reached the end of the alley, the footsteps abruptly stopped, replaced by an unsettling silence. For a moment, I dared to hope that I had lost whatever was tailing me. But then, a chill ran through the air, and a voice, barely more than a whisper, called my name from the shadows. It was a voice I recognized, one I hadn't heard in years. Panic surged through me as I realized who it belonged to. It was my childhood friend, Ethan, who had disappeared without a trace when we were kids. The memory of his face, the mischievous grin he'd always worn, flashed before my eyes. How could this be possible? The alley seemed to stretch endlessly as I turned to confront the impossible. There he stood, or rather, a twisted version of him, pale and translucent, eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "I waited for you," he said, his voice echoing in the stillness. "You never came back." A wave of guilt and grief washed over me as I recalled the day we got separated in the woods, the day he vanished. Now, here he was, a ghost of the past, tethered to me by the memories we once shared. The realization hit me like a cold wave. I had been running from more than a shadow. I had been running from the haunting truth of my own past. As I stood there, frozen in terror and remorse, Ethan's figure began to dissolve into the night, leaving me alone with the echoes of my own footsteps.